Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, but if you looked on Twitter, I guess you get a big X now. So I don't know if Elon changed it to X or X code or whatever he wants to change it to. Who knows? Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on everything you can. Also on YouTube, that goal is coming. So we just need to get to, we need a little bit more help getting to that 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys watching and commenting on the show and all those things. And there was a comment on Twitter that on YouTube that I just wanted to get to real quick before I got into today's agenda. If I can find that real quick for you. Pac-12 Media Day, we'll talk about a little bit about that. And we'll also talk about a little bit of what Lincoln Riley said, and talk about what a lot of people said about a lot of players, Mason Cobb and company like that, was said on the Pac-12 Media Day. But I did say I commented on a comment. I want to make sure I comment on this comment because I don't want to forget about the comment one of you guys said to me out here, and I think it was about Mason Cobb. It was about the Pac-12 championship game. So I can find that one. Yes, David, who commented and asked why was Miller Moss not used after Caleb's injury. We should stop using that excuse for losing to Utah in the championship game. That's a coaching fail if you decide to play an injured quarterback. So when he throws a touchdown pass to Mario Williams in that moment, I think we had a situation where it was they brought USC within three points, but I think there was a game where I think the defense just needed to pick us up, and they didn't pick us up in that moment. I think if you could have just, I think they also, being at that game, they didn't do a good job of kind of recognizing what Utah was doing. Utah was being hella, after the Utah got down, they got hella aggressive. You could have just 3-step drops and just get rid of the football. Would have been the best way of moving the football against them in that game. It would have been just easy peasy because they were just trying desperately to do anything. So even injured Caleb Williams could have done the 3-step drop and got rid of the football. And that's not what they did. They didn't start doing that until later in the game. And by that time, it was too late. But they also needed, I think there was a moment in that game where, and just like the Utah game that was in the previous game that was in Utah, they had a big opportunity in that game to kind of shut the door and win that game going away. And they didn't. They had 4 or 5 straight possessions up 10. Utah was scuffling. They weren't doing anything offensively, and they just didn't take advantage of that opportunity, USC, and that's why they lost that game. So give Utah credit. They won the game. They beat USC twice. USC's going to have to that's a monkey off their back. They're going to have to kind of shake, if you will. Remember that big you remember the Super Bowl with Steve Young, and he was just like, somebody take this monkey off my back after you won the Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers. Kind of the same thing here. Utah's done a good job. Willingham's done a good job against the Trojans. He's built a really good program. There's been some speculation about how long he's going to be there, and with this conference going in flux, who knows how long he will be out there in Utah. George Kliavkoff, and if I butcher his last name, I don't even care. Usually I care about butchering somebody's last name, but I really don't care as far as that goes. This guy has been an absolute atrocity as the leader of the Pac-12. And I think it's crazy and it's nuts that when you sit there and look at this situation where he was asked about the TV deal, like the TV deal, what's going to happen with the TV deal, what's going on with the TV deal, and the fact that he just had absolutely positively no clue on how to answer the question, that has no clue on how to um, lead this conference is part of the reason why it's the biggest reason why the LA schools are leaving. I mean, the LA schools are leaving because of this. You have to be able, you have football, okay? You're not trying to sell cricket or any other things. You know, cricket around the world is popular, but not as much in the United States. I don't want to offend any cricket fans out there. But like at the end of the day, your opportunity to sell Caleb Williams, to sell UCLA, to sell Utah, to sell all these. They have this conference has so many starting NFL quarterbacks and potential backup NFL quarterbacks on it. Like you're going to get good quarterback play. When you get good quarterback play, you're going to get great games. And the fact that you can't sell great games, you can't do those things with the talent you have, and you can't have the skillfulness to close deals. All ABC always be closing. Like you can't close this deal. He flat out cannot close this deal with the major network. Even if it's a 1-year deal, they can't do it. So it's pretty embarrassing. And his answers for it, and he said he didn't want to overshadow football. Like, what are we talking about? You don't want to overshadow football, cousin. Like, what are you thinking about? Like, the only thing people want to know is where can they watch the games? All these guys who write, who work in the media, when they're on Twitter, when they're on all these different outlets, their fans text me and fans DM me like, "Hey, where can I watch?" I'm Bill from Ohio. Like, where can I watch USC? I'm a big USC fan. My mom and dad went there. Shout out to Bill. Like, I mean, like you have to be able to provide that information because this show is July 24th. We're recording it. We're almost literally in the month of August. We are 2 days away from week 0, USC, San Jose State. We're a month away from that, almost a month away from that. And we don't know where that game is going to be played. As far on the TV market. At this point, just call Apple and just be like, yo, just call Amazon, just call any of those people and just take a crappy deal for a year, just so people know that they can find the game. CW, try to get it on CW, do something. But like this, but to sit there and waste, this is the reason why you're not having a deal. Not to mention like how poor. I mean, Yogi Roth is really good. They have some good commentators on the Pac-12 network, but the Pac-12 network is not very good. The production is not great. Their highlights are so short. It's like, what are we doing? Like, it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing situation as far as that goes. I'm disappointed in it. I mean, I think it's really it's not fun to watch. Like it's not fun to watch what's going on with the Pac-12 because there's a lot of fond memories. If you're a USC fan, if you're an Oregon State fan, you're whoever you are a fan of in this conference, there's some really cool memories. And he can't get it done. And the fact that, why do you think Roger Goodell? You think Roger Goodell is like, but every time he goes to the stage, excuse me, he gets booed crazily, like as if he stole, the Grinch who stole Christmas. But he's in place because he brings the dough. He always be closing. He knows how to close those deals. He knows how to close those deals. So, whatever the Pac-12 becomes, I don't know. It looks like Colorado has one foot out the door. Some of these other teams are just probably knocking on the door, just begging the Big Ten. Washington probably begging the Big Ten, Oregon probably begging the Big Ten to come over and play, and they can't get it done. I can't get it done. So bad job by the commissioner of the leader of the Pac-12, Kliavkoff, and he needs to get off the job, if you will, because he's been terrible as far as that goes. Media day, I thought it was interesting that they did, they could have brought a lot of different players there, and obviously Caleb Williams was there, and then you have a guy like Mason Cobb being there, and Mason Cobb, they both wear 13, so that's a cool part about it, and he's going to be that linebacker who's going to lead that defense, and I don't think it's interesting that he brought him. He's a transfer, Oklahoma State. If you want to go back to our previous show, I did a breakdown of him. When he transferred from USC, from Oklahoma State to USC, to give you kind of give you a look about what he's about and how he could help Alex Grinch and this defense. But you're not going to learn anything new about it. I thought it was just simply them just hanging out and just answering questions. It was all right. It was okay. Same thing with Lincoln Riley. I didn't gain a lot from it as far as that goes. But I mean, I think the setup was nice. They had a little stage. They had some questions from a couple of hosts from the Pac-12 network. So that was fun to watch as well, and getting some of the media on there. And as well. So shout out to Tony, who was out there covering the Pac-12 and all things in Vegas as well too. So cool moment for them. Obviously this is the last year. It's the last year where they're gonna do it. So USC is moving on. So we have to gotta get ready for that. That's that simple reality that this is the last time that USC is going to be out there repping the Pac-12 on that jersey. Couple questions here. We got Elijah asking about the offensive line. Listen, we got Tarquin, we got Emmanuel Pregna, who I'm really excited about, Justin Diedich, Jared Kingston, and Jonah Monheim. I think when fall camp starts, you want to see them mesh together. No question about it. You want to see those guys come together, do their thing, and just get that rhythm going offensively. Because watching some of these games back, this was a big thing for them, because part of the reason why they were so good last year is because of the offensive line. And the offensive line never quit on blocks. They held their blocks. They were able to, one thing I like about this team too is that they are a physical team, very physical team, especially with that GT counter. That's one thing I like about Lincoln Riley and his ability to be physical. I watched that Notre Dame game a lot because Notre Dame really tried to punk SC. They really tried to punk SC, and SC wasn't having it. And they weren't having it. And Austin Jones just ran all over him in that game. And that was kind of his hey, I know Travis Dye is gone, but we still got a good running game. Just give me the rock. I'll take you home. And he did a good job of that as well. Also caught some passes in the passing game as well. So the good job by him. Raleek Brown. James wants to know about Raleek Brown and his classification, moving from running back to wide receiver. He's going to be, I am, when I say that I'm really excited, when I say that I want to just jump for joy every time I watch him play. I know he made some mistakes as a freshman last year. It is 107 degrees in here, just so you know. But I do love what they're going to be able to do with him, because once he gets into the open field, he's a beast. Once he gets in open field, he's so shifty. He can do all these different things. He can do all these really cool, you can run all these cool different looks for him and all this stuff like that. The guy is a phenomenally gifted player, so I would look for big things from him. There's a lot of different offensive weapons here. I think the question I would have probably asked Caleb Williams if I was at the media day is how do you concentrate on running the play when you know that all these weapons, and some guys in here haven't touched the ball in a long time. It's so I mean it's gonna be tough. I mean, but they have depth here, so I'm not really worried about it. I think Taj Washington is gonna have a big year. I think he's just slippery as heck, and also you got the Zachariah Branch factor. I mean, Branch is a special, unique, gifted player. that gives you so much versatility. And when you put him on the field with Malik Brown, it's just going to be something else. It's gonna be something else. So it'll be fun to watch to see. And plus, Willie Brown has nice hands. Like he's a natural pass catcher as well, Willie Brown. So it'd be fun to watch him play as well. Am I worried about the defensive tackle room? I think I'm a little bit like I think it's it could possibly be an issue if you have some injuries there. And I said it before. I said it last week on my show with Evan Desai. I just really don't. I just don't want to overuse Bear Alexander. I want Bear Alexander to play every game this year. I want to be in every game. I think as soon as they like some of these games where they just turn it up and they end up blowing some of these teams out early, let's give the Bear a rest. Let's put the Bear in hibernation, if you will, for at halftime, so we can get other people, Benton, Tuli Falofu, Tyrone Talini, like those guys, get those guys opportunities to play, because you never know when you're going to need them. Sam Green is a guy as well. He's more of an edge than a D tackle, but he's a guy who I think will be fun as well, to see what's going to go on. I think a couple things in the Notre Dame game that really still kind of bothered me, and I'm not sure what we're doing with that, is they go up by 2 scores. Notre Dame is driving, and they're dropping Tuli in coverage, and they rush in 3. I mean, you just like that part of Alex Grinch, and maybe he did it because he just didn't want to give him a big play. Maybe that was it. But you can't keep doing that, cousin. Like you have to be more aggressive than that. You got to at least rush 4, and hopefully, I'm thinking that with the quick penetration ability of an Anthony Lucas, with Keon Bars, with Bear Alexander, Jamil Muhammad, who's poised, and Sam Green, Jack Sullivan, who I love as well too. It should be fun. It should be fun to see if they're able to get things done with those guys as well. So short, quick, to the point show. Kliavkoff. I feel bad for the rest of the Pac-12 because they don't know what they're doing. He has to be fired because they have to find a deal, and they have to kind of form a formation here to keep this conference together without the LA schools. Maybe it means SMU comes over. Maybe it means San Diego State comes in. Who knows? But we'll see what happens there. See you guys later. And as always, fight on.